This is section 1.2.2, making estimations from graphs. We're going to talk about three types of graphs. The first is the bar graph or the histogram. They're actually two different graphs, but they're very similar and they're used to show the same thing. In these graphs, horizontal or vertical bars are used to show comparisons of items. The second type of graph is the circle graph, otherwise known as the pie chart. It is a circle that is divided into parts to show how a whole quantity is divided. And the third type of graph is a line graph. It's made up of points that are connected with a line to show general trends over time. So as you can see, based on what you're trying to show, you will choose one of these three graphs. Here's a list of data that breaks down the hours of the day. You can see that this person slept 7.8 hours. They ate 1.75 hours. They were socializing 1.64 hours. They played video games or watched TV for 2.32 hours. They played sports or exercised for 1.95 hours. They spent 6.5 hours in school or working on homework. 1.14 hours grooming. And 0.9 hours doing their chores at home. Now, to look at a table of data is kind of tedious, and it doesn't really give you a good sense of how this person spent their day. Of course, you can pick out some of the very large or very small numbers, but overall, it makes sense to show this information as part of a graph. Here's the same information, not necessarily shown in numbers, but as part of a bar graph. This bar graph makes it much easier to compare the different things that the person did throughout the day. As you can see, this person spent a lot of time sleeping. Next, they spent a lot of time in school or on homework. From there, they spent most of their day breaking things apart fairly evenly. Here's another way to break down the same information. So in this case, we're using the circle graph to show how the hours of the day have been distributed. Once again, you can see that sleeping takes up the most part of the circle graph, followed by school and homework. Then from there, ranging from 4% of their day up to as much as 10% of the day, they break their day apart amongst chores, grooming, sports and exercising, TV and video games, socializing, and eating. Now here's the topic of gas prices. If you have your driver's license, you're probably familiar with how expensive gas is these days. And do you know that gas prices fluctuate a lot? A lot of times it's based on the price of crude oil. Gas prices at the gas pump will go up and down throughout a week. Here's the use of a line graph to show the trends of U.S. crude oil, gasoline, and diesel prices through the years 2007 to 2012. We can pick apart this line graph, noting that from the year 2008 to almost 2009, we had a major uptrend in the price of these gasolines. In 2009, we reached a relative low mark, but then gradually from 2009 until 2012, crude oil, gasoline, and diesel prices have steadily increased. This is good use of a line graph showing the trends over time of these expenses. So once again, remember, based on what it is that you're trying to show your viewer, what kind of information you're trying to portray, you're going to choose the appropriate graph. This has been section 1.2.2, making estimations from graphs.